So in this segment, we're going to be talking about UK businesses slash investments due to soaring prices and Brexit. This kind of linked to a previous article we talked about, but I think this one's got a different take on it that's worth talking about, a different angle on the report. Businesses slashing investment as prices soar, Brexit trading difficulties and political uncertainty. Now, if you look at each one, right, prices soaring, Brexit will play a part in that. No doubt when it comes to imports and exports, goods and services being imported, etc., and exported. But there are also other problems with regards to energy, which Brexit plays a smaller part in. With a falling pound, it's mainly caused by the producers. They're the main problem here. Brexit trading difficulties, supply chain crisis, customs fees, all of this stuff. We spoke about this a lot before. Political uncertainty, that's down to the Tory leadership race. Many firms are now planning to cut investment as to increase it. It's about a 50-50 split potentially, according to the Institute of Directors' latest polls of business chiefs. That is the weakest reading since October 2020 as nervous firms rein in spending. So October 2020, you just had COVID. I think we're entering a second wave of COVID as well. You can see why businesses were very pessimistic. Business investment intentions have been falling steadily since the start of the year, and input costs have soared and the economy slowed, undermining efforts to lift productivity. Because if input costs, right, the cost of making a product goes up, that's going to significantly, reduce the amount of those products being made potentially, because the prices are going up on it. There's going to be less demand for it, unless it's an absolute essential that you can't buy from someone else, which is rare, very rare. That could be the case. Business leaders, with over half saying economic conditions in the UK are having a negative impact on their organisation, along with soaring energy costs and skill shortages. Skill shortages are predominantly caused by Brexit. We don't have freedom of movement anymore. 69% of bosses, meme number, were either very or quite pessimistic about the UK economy. 69% of them. The vast majority of them were pessimistic about the UK, very pessimistic or quite pessimistic. That's not good, considering they're meant to, run companies within the UK. With just 15% were optimistic. God, that's just crazy. The only group I think you'll find more optimistic about Brexit are, the members of the ERG and the Tory party. 15% are optimistic. God, I bet you they run like customs agencies or something. They make money out of it, maybe. I don't know. Inflation now at a 40-year high was the most common reason for pessimism, because people don't have money to buy goods. Companies' input costs are going up dramatically. That pushes up the cost of final product, but also the fact that people don't have money to afford on luxuries. Inflation cited by a third of firms, which is a lot. Official data has shown business investment has stalled after the 2016 EU referendum because they weren't sure what we were going to do. No one had any idea what Brexit was going to look like, and these businesses were that. They were so unsure about what we were actually going to do. It then plunged when the pandemic began and was still 9.1% below pre-pandemic levels earlier this year. So we're still struggling now. We're still kind of juttering on a bit in this economy. Trust the current frontliner to become Prime Minister. Most likely she will become Prime Minister unless she does something incredibly stupid. Has pledged to introduce low tax, light regulation investment zones across the UK if she came to power. Now, I don't know how well that would play with the TCA, considering that the EU, there's the whole Michel Barnier joke about looking for a level playing field, but he was very serious. Sunak, the former Chancellor, who introduced a super deduction tax he did introduce a super deduction tax for business investment, is promising to cut the number of boarded up high street shops by helping local authorities quickly seize and repurpose empty commercial buildings, which I think is good policy. I think council should be able to not only take over these sort of empty shops, but also own them. I think council should own the high street shops, because you'll generate more money for the local economy, and you won't be charged with rip-off rents by landlords who don't care and will just write off empty buildings as part of tax relief. They can use these as cuts effectively to cut the tax burden. A fifth of mid-sized businesses said recruitment and retention problems are the biggest threat they face. And again, there's a lot more competition now in the jobs market. It doesn't help your boy out because no one's willing to hire me because I suck apparently. But retaining staff is a huge problem because training people is expensive. Almost half of the firms say they are offering new benefits in kind of staff, such as childcare support, free meals at work, or shopping vouchers, which I think these things are great. But ultimately, we just don't have the numbers to deal with the productivity that an economy like the UK needs, and that's a key problem. You can't boost productivity when you don't have enough people, kind of pushing the economy work-wise. record low unemployment, record high vacancies. These are two things that don't work well with each other. I think the Netherlands are facing similar problems, but again, they have access to freedom of movement. Their employee rights, I think, are better than in the UK, and they pay, I think, on par with the UK, maybe slightly more, slightly less. But why would you want to go to a country like the UK where you need a visa and other things, and you're not, kind of respected, when you can go to the Netherlands where you'll get a much better time? Stronger gas prices now mean that we expect CPI inflation to peak above 12% in October before easing back, and I don't see why they would ease back. I can't see the Russian invasion of Ukraine ending anytime soon. There's no guarantee inflation will decline again, and this CPI inflation index, I think, is a joke. The consumer price index is a joke. I think it's far higher than what they're saying it is now. Genuinely, when you look at goods in the supermarket, how many have only just gone up by 12%? When you look at goods generally, how much of it has only gone up by 12%? Some of these goods have gone up by 20, 25%, especially in the budget category of goods. They've gone up dramatically. The bootstrap cook, Jack Monroe, she covers this a lot better than I ever could. She dragged the ONS over it as well. The ONS saying they're going to kind of relook at their methodology, for example, because of what she said to them effectively, or said about them. So inflation being 12% is ridiculous, especially when energy bills are going to double this year. You're saying going up by 50%. So how could inflation be at 12%? It's a joke, an absolute joke. But anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, support the channel on Patreon if you can, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.